You seem like the kind of person who's got it all together, but on the inside, you're constantly overthinking, overworking, just in general feeling not good enough. Does that sound familiar? Today, I'm breaking down the sneaky signs of high functioning anxiety. Know this that if you're struggling, you are not alone. Unlike a generalized anxiety disorder that, may be obvious, high functioning anxiety hides behind success, productivity, and perfectionism. In fact, some high achievers even believe that this type of anxiety is the drive, is the source of their success. Many times it goes unnoticed because, in fact, we are still functioning and often at a high level. And so in the mental health world, we would call this subclinical, meaning the anxiety hasn't overwhelmed you to the point that you're no longer able to function in your daily life. You're still crushing it, right? But what good is success if you can't enjoy it? So that's what we're getting into today. I'm going to talk to you about some signs that you may be living with high functioning anxiety and then what you can do about it. So, the first sign is overthinking everything. So, do you constantly analyze conversations, overanalyze decisions or potential failures? A lot of people with high functioning anxiety spend a lot of time trying to predict what might go wrong, really as a way of protection, a way to avoid, embarrassment or shame of, making a mistake, which leads to the idea of perfectionism and overworking being a part of or a sign of high functioning anxiety. You feel like you got to do more to prove your worth, right? Somehow, somewhere along the way, we've attached our worth to, our output, our productivity, our success. There's something to be said about, how many gold stars can you earn, right? If you were the kind of kid who, you know, wanted those straight A's, not because anybody at home was saying you got to have straight A's, but because you were saying to yourself, like, this matters. This is a measure of my worth and my abilities, and I need these A's for this reason. You may carry that over into adulthood in other ways. Another potential sign is people pleasing. So struggling to say no, or fearing disappointment, or feeling just responsible for other people's emotions. Where are my firstborn daughters, right? This is such a classic sign. um, you know Most firstborn daughters are really famous for taking on the responsibility of other people's emotions. Not that it's always that case, and plenty of other people do this as well, but it seems to be sort of a trend there. Um, but there's an important distinction between empathy and responsibility. We don't have to stop caring about other people's emotions. We just need to stop carrying the burden. Another sign is restlessness and trouble relaxing. So, always needing to be doing something, even when we're exhausted. Resting isn't the familiar zone. And so we resist it. Sitting around or sitting still feels like we're being worthless. But learning to believe that our best work comes when we are balanced and rested and at our best can, really help us here. Another sign is that your inner critic is on overdrive. So that voice in your head, is constantly telling you that you're not doing enough. You should be doing more. You should be achieving more. You should be farther ahead, right? What happens? What do you say when someone gives you a compliment? Do you say thank you? Or do you have that urge to immediately say, oh, no, 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 it's not a big deal, or that was easy, or no problem, or oh my goodness, no, I look terrible, or, whatever it is, we sort of deflect those compliments, because that little voice inside just won't let you receive those affirmations because what you're believing is that you aren't enough right now. So you still need to do more to earn it. So you're still trying to reach this impossible standard. And that's part of the reason why you can't receive those compliments. You can't receive that praise because on the inside, you're not giving it to yourself already. These patterns, to be honest, they work in the short term. They can push us, right? They can drive us. That idea of, getting the straight A's in school, pushed us, gave us that accomplishment, got us into a nice college, got us, those kinds of things is part of what makes it hard to let go of high functioning anxiety, part of what makes it hard for us to see the problem with it. There are some short-term benefits, but in the long term, it leads to, high functioning anxiety, leads to burnout, exhaustion, disconnection, and just general dissatisfaction with life. I've worked with high achievers that believed, this type of anxiety was healthy and making them successful. But, those hidden costs to living with high levels of cortisol, always being on and alert, and constantly berating yourself and feeling not enough, those catch up with you eventually. But there's good news. You don't have to live this way forever. If you've felt this way, you're not broken. You just need to make a few shifts to embrace a healthier and more sustainable approach. If this resonates, I've got something for you. And, this is going to help you get started on that path to freedom from high functioning anxiety. It's my free guide. It's called 4 Steps to Freedom from High Functioning Anxiety. It gives you simple, science backed tools to start feeling calmer and more in control right away. So comment below, did any of these signs sound familiar to you? Can you relate? And of course, if you found this helpful, share it with a friend. You deserve a life of joy and peace and success that you define. Thanks for being here. I'll see you next week.